Hi everyone and welcome. This is Alex here of Advice by Alex. I want to thank you very much for joining me today on Advice by Alex podcast episode 2. So hopefully you all are doing well and that you are having an absolutely fantastic week thus far and that you are having an absolutely brilliant week and where it is filled with happiness, joy, peace, and love as well. So don't mind me, guys. I'm just getting some water here on the side here. Alrighty, so I was a little bit thirsty there, so I do apologize about that. But hopefully you all are doing absolutely fantastic today. Today is Tuesday, August 26th, 2025. I want to thank you for stopping by and giving me a listen to. And if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. Thank you very much for being a supporter and follower of the podcast. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. And the support and trust that you put in me, I definitely greatly appreciate, as it does help me to be able to go ahead and really just give you guys the best quality service that I can give for each and every one of you. And while I am still figuring out the flow of the podcast. So I definitely greatly appreciate you. So today is Tuesday. I wanted to get this done yesterday, but this week has been a little bit chaotic. So, my best friend has their last week here, in my city. We live in the same apartment complex. So it is where, they are going to be moving next week to a different part of Ohio. And that is where I am just kind of helping them in a lot of different ways. So that is kind of like what I have been doing in the background here as well. So, but hopefully you all are having a fantastic week, and hopefully your Monday was really well and everything of that nature. So hopefully that is where it started off a good week for you and everything of that nature. So, so that is where that is at in regard to everything and stuff like that. However, if you have not heard of the announcement of the week, we will go ahead into the announcement of the week. And that is where basically we do still have the August special going on, and this is the last week to be able to do that special because next week we'll be going into a new month and we will have a new special for the podcast and everything of that nature. So that is where that is at. So, but yeah, so that is basically where that is and everything of that nature. And also, it is where I greatly appreciate your support again, and then also I love being able to help everyone here. So helping everybody is just part of my nature. So that being said, the special of August is a 1-card angel reading, and that is for $10. And if you would like that, you can email me at Alex, T as in Tom, Artman, ARTMAN, 21 at yahoo.com, and just be sure to put the podcast special in the subject line. And it is for $10, I should say. And that is the 1-card special of the special of the week, or the rest of the month of August and everything like that. So that being said, next month it will be a new special, so stay tuned for the new special if you're wanting to do that. And of course, I do have a wide variety of readings on my Etsy shop, which will be posted in the description of the podcast. And also, I do have a Planoly site as well. It is where I'm still working on that. So once I get all the kinks worked out with that, I will let you know. So that is really where that is at, and everything of that nature. So that is where we are, and everything of that nature. So with that being said, if you are not wanting a reading and you just want to be able to donate here at Advice by Alex, I greatly appreciate your support. It does go back into the podcast. It goes back into the YouTube, getting either equipment for the business or crystals, or it would be for it will definitely be where it is where there is card decks throughout, where we can get new card decks and things like that to be able to use and things of that nature. So that is where that is at. So it does go back into the podcast, but it also, if you want to help support me and everything like that in other ways, I greatly appreciate that support as well, and so does Teddy Bear as well. So that is all there. So if you wanted to do either one of those, I will leave all that information in the description as well. So that being said, let us get in here and we'll get started with the podcast. So today we are going to be doing the card of the week. So today we're going to be using my handy dandy The Psychic Tarot of the Heart by John Holland, and that will be the card of the week. So while I am shuffling for you all, I will put the mic down and we'll get started after all that. What does everybody need to know for the week of August 25th, 2025? What does everybody need to know? Alrighty. Okay. So what the angels are really saying, and the card of the week is all about trust. So it's all about trusting in the process, allowing things to go with the flow of things. And I know as humans, we all have a very hard time with allowing ourselves to go with the flow, allowing things to trust, and allowing things to happen. And because we're so in a society nowadays where we want instant gratification, and not just due to social media and things of that nature, but it is where it's important to be trusting. And the angels are also really saying that it's all about a time of being in the moment. So it's all about trusting and having faith that things will work out. And they're pointing me back to the YouTube, where the YouTube weekly was all about change. So I feel like that is where they are wanting me to go back to that. If you are having a hard time with changes in your life, it is where it's all about having trust and faith that things will work out for you. And that is very important because of the fact that we all go through different patterns in our lives where some may be more turbulent than others, and where it may seem more challenging and an uphill battle. But know that we all go through and that things eventually balance out and it becomes lighter. But during those turbulence, it's all about growth, and it's personal growth in regard to what we are currently learning during that time. And sometimes when we are resistant to the lessons and learning about change for the lessons is where we tend to basically, we all tend to get overwhelmed and we are a bit resistant to the lessons that we are supposed to be learning. And that's all about what we are doing here on Earth School is in regard to lessons and things of that nature. So that is one of those things and stuff like that. So that is always a big thing and stuff like that. So for me, I definitely can relate to trusting because of the fact that sometimes I have experienced a lack of faith and a lack of doubt in my life, and where it has caused those up and down moments where I have that lack of faith and where things seem to not be turning out. But then at the tail end of things is when they all work out for the greatest good. So, and the way that they're supposed to work out. Even if it might seem challenging, we always are able to overcome anything that we put our mind to. And whether that be with finances, love, work, career, anything you name it, we can overcome any challenges that are along the way. So, that being said, it is basically where, with myself, I am currently going through a twin flame journey. And there are periods within that twin flame journey where I feel like giving up, where I don't want anything to do with the twin flame journey, and where I'm like, enough is enough. I just want a soulmate. And that is where I tend to avoid my emotions, what is causing that lack of faith and trust in the process. So then, like, different situations will happen where it will cause turbulence in my life. So, with that being said, I usually have to look for the signs and symbols that I am on the right track, whether it be the twin flame repeating numbers or other signs from the universe that I am on the right track with my twin flame. And it is where you gotta ask yourself, why am I having this lack of faith and trust? And then you gotta listen for the answer. Because the answer will always come to you. It's just all about that soul searching. Even if we are not wanting to see things clearly because we're afraid of the truth, what I always like to say is that the truth will set us free. So that is one of the ways that it can help us build that trust and things of that nature. So that is one of the foremost important things is in regard to building that trust and that faith. So that is kind of like a little bit of an overview of this week. So it's like a mini like motivational factor and everything of that nature. So I think I will also draw one more card here from the regular tarot, if you don't mind. All right. So what does everybody need to know for the week of August 25th? Oh. Okay, guys. So the card that correlates with the trust factor is the Five of Wands. and tensions are high and you're in the midst of conflict, competition, or a change that is impacting your ability to move forward. You and the others involved are unable to find common ground. Everyone is fighting to be heard, and yet no one is listening. Calm your storm and listen to what the others have to say. Even though it may not be easy to do, try to be open and encourage productivity. This does include Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and fire. And it is competition, debates, rivalry, conflict, disagreements, strife, tension, territorial, clashing, egos, and petty. So, I couldn't have said it better than myself for those being the cards of the week and everything like that. So, but let us go ahead here into the magical item of the week and everything of that nature. So, I was just taking a quick sip of my water. So, since the topic of this week is all about Archangel Michael, it is where we are going to be using these crystals that can be able to use to help connect with Archangel Michael. So the first one is blue kyanite. Blue kyanite is connected to the energy of the flaming sword of Archangel Michael and helps cut the cords to toxic people or anything that no longer serves you. This crystal raises your vibration. Blue kyanite helps you embody your authentic truth and free yourself from self-limiting beliefs. And that can also go with the theme of the week as well. I love how everything ties together. You can't make this stuff up. And then we have danbarite. It's another high vibrational crystal. It channels angelic light and energy, as well as helping you to connect with your angels. It illuminates your spiritual path and divine love or divine life purpose. Danbarite guides light workers and light warriors to be of greater service to their soul tribe and the planet. So that is danbarite. And then we have the blue flash labradorite, labradorite. And a blue flash labradorite is attuned to the energy and aura of Archangel Michael. Work with a blue variety of labradorite to strengthen your aura and shield you against negative energy. As with all labradorite, it helps you release old identities and align with your authentic self. We also have is carnelian. Carnelian taps you into the vibration of empowerment. Archangel Michael works through its fiery energy to help ignite your motivation to go after your goals. Work with a carnelian to increase your self-confidence and courage. It also helpful for etheric cord cutting. So we have is lapis lazuli is next, and lapis lazuli can work as a filter that traps and purifies negative energy. This is an excellent stone for releasing trauma and karmic healing from challenging past lives. Lapis lazuli also assists you in releasing any self-limiting vows and stepping into a spiritual leadership role. And the sixth is hematite. And that is hematite anchors the energy of Archangel Michael's shield. This is a stone of grounding and protection. And hematite deflects negative energy and unwanted attention away from you. This metallic stone boosts your inner strength, resilience, and confidence. And next we have here is sodalite. Sodalite is another one of Archangel Michael's crystals. It channels his purifying blue flame. Sodalite is a powerful cleansing crystal, especially mentally, where we can experience blocks. Perfect for this week. Work with sodalite to receive divine inspiration for your higher path and a life purpose. So that is where that is and stuff like that. So that is where it's all about as to what is happening in regard to Archangel Michael and how he helps us in our day-to-day life. So that is just really, really cool. And also where it does show that Archangel Michael is always around us. So, and always, if you ever need Archangel Michael's help, you can always call upon Archangel Michael. And I just say, I call upon Archangel Michael, the highest vibration of love and light that is of God. And then you just set the intentions that you would like him to help with and things of that nature. So just by even doing that, I was able to sense his energy around, even though with talking about him, he was already around during this entire podcast for today. So, and that being said, hopefully you enjoyed the topic for today. And on a different podcast, in a different segment, I will be doing a whole meditation in regard to connecting with Archangel Michael. And I will do that in a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and work with Archangel Michael. So, but yeah, so that brings us to the end of the podcast here. So if you have not done so already, if you would go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and share the podcast. Greatly appreciate each and every one of you. And of course, it is where, if you need help, and you would like a question, or you would like a, one question reading, that will be the end of the month of August special. That is $10. Just email me with the podcast special in the subject line. I'll send you either a PayPal request, or you can do Cash App or anything like that. And yeah, so that brings us to the end of the podcast here. I hope you all greatly enjoyed the podcast for today. And hopefully that was interesting. So we'll go ahead with another Archangel Michael for next week. And until next time, everybody, I am going to send you so much love, angel blessings, and I will talk with you all later. Bye, everybody.